Facebook page, and we'll interact with you live on the show.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Experience Pros Radio Show. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, are you a big college athletics fan?
Well, probably not. I probably not. I should just honestly admit that.
When I was in high school, I was an athlete. Then I injured myself, and now I'm just a great big athletic supporter.
Really, though? Yeah. Really, you're going to go there?
I did.
All right. Well, our next guest, maybe he'll agree with you, is Mike McIntyre, Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative reporter at the New York Times, and he teaches journalism at New York University. And his reporting on corruption in college sports for the New York Times was a Pulitzer finalist. His brand new book is called Champion's Way: Football, Florida, and the Lost Soul of College Sports. It's a searing expose of collegiate athletics. He details a system that exploits athletes for profit, enables players to violate academic standards, and in some cases, shields them from criminal prosecution. Champion's Way is a devastating depiction of how the multi-billion-dollar college sports empire fails universities, students, and athletes. Mike McIntyre, welcome to Experience Pros.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It's very nice to have you, Mike. Now, keep in mind, we're the positive business talk show here in America, so we're going to see if we can find some shimmer of hope. What's going on in college athletics today?
Oh, there's definitely cause for hope here. I mean, one of the points of my book is it takes a historical look as well as over the overview of college sports and how we kind of got to this place where we are today, where so much of I think what causes the scandals that you read about is really caused by money. And the scale of the cash flowing through the system now is so big. You're talking broadcasting contracts for multi-year periods worth billions of dollars to broadcast the games. You're talking corporate sponsorship money and money from wealthy boosters flowing into the system. That it kind of skews the perspective of everybody involved, from the university presidents right on down to the athletes on the field.
Well, sure. I mean, the sports and the money behind it is in many ways across American universities the driving force for what happened to academics?
Well, it's interesting. The NCAA, which is the governing body of college sports, tries to maintain this illusion that it is all about academics, that these athletes are just are students first and foremost, and they're involved with sports secondarily. But I mean, let's face it, a lot of the kids who come through these systems, are really supremely talented athletes with a promising future ahead of them, and they may not want to be there or even be capable, ready to really do college level academic work, and yet they're forced into this construct where they have to in order to stay eligible to play. And that system just is set up to fail. I mean, you get a situation like that, and it's ripe for cutting all sorts of corners to try to keep them on the field on Saturday.
Right, and these are kids that we're talking about. They're not adults. They have barely gotten out of high school when they're thrust into this environment, and of course, for many, even this is the first time they're making some adult decisions on their own or experiencing some of the freedoms of not living at home. And of course, it just seems like they're handling it very poorly, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking too about in the case of the elite athletes, the ones in the Division I level of the NCAA. I mean, they come to these universities and colleges, and they're put on a pedestal and idolized and worshipped in some cases, and that they're really not ready for that either. If you're talking about the difficulties of just going to school to begin with,
right,
as freshmen, and you add that on top of it, and then they have the responsibility of not only performing on the field at their top level, but also trying to pass classes and maintain a certain GPA. It is a recipe for problems.
Mike, when the athletes behave poorly, and sometimes that crosses legal lines, it seems to me, and maybe you can shed a little bit of light on this, it seems to me that there are handlers and keepers and chimney sweepers who just kind of clean everything up and make it all go away. And it's as if nothing ever happened, and we turn a blind eye to that. Is that accurate?
Well, it is one of the things I get into in the book is I try to take a look at just how the power and influence of these big-time athletic programs in certain parts of the country really do kind of, work their way into the community level as well. So you wind up seeing police departments, making poor decisions when it comes to investigating cases involving athletes, just because of the power and influence of the school athletic program.
Right.
And so, I think that kind of infects all layers of the community, including from the university, but also in the elsewhere with boosters and people like that who just want to support the program.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there hope? Can it turn around, or is it just too much money?
Yeah, so where's the good news, right?
Yeah.
I think that, there's a couple of things that would need to be done to try to take some of the impetus for bad behavior out of the system. And one of the interesting things I discovered about this is that all of the money that flows through college athletics, and we're talking in a Division I, more than $8 billion a year, it's all tax-free. So all that money comes into the system under the guise of, it's all part of the educational nonprofit pursuit of the universities that the athletic programs are part of. If you tax that money, which you should be, because it really is a profitable commercial enterprise, there are people who've looked at this and said that would take some of the wind out of the sails of a lot of the impetus for bad behavior.
I think it put gasoline on the fire.
Yeah, I mean, another option is to start treating some of the athletes as the professionals or semi-professionals that they are, and why not pay them? That's a very controversial topic, but right now they're the only ones not being paid. Everyone around them is making money off of their talents.
Right.
If you do that and you find a new way to kind of allow them to go through school without having to follow the same academic guidelines as everybody else, since that's not really why they're there. Again, you can remove some of the incentives for these academic scandals and the booster violations, or some rich guy slipping money to a kid to try to do favors for him.
You bet.
Come to school.
Our guest is Mike MacIntyre. His book is Champions Way: Football, Florida, and the Lost Soul of College Sports. If you are interested in college sports, boy, I'll tell you what, you really need to pick up a copy of this and see what the state of the game is right here and now.
Right. His reporting on corruption in college sports for the New York Times made him a Pulitzer finalist. Mike MacIntyre, thanks so much for being our guest today and for writing the book and just bringing a new perspective to, instead of, just what the media is sharing, bring in more, something deeper to the story than what we were seeing. Thanks so much for being with us.
Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You bet. That's Mike MacIntyre. Go pick up a copy of his book, Champions Way. And folks, you always know this is the home of positive business talk, but sometimes we have to talk about the reality. It's not that everything is hunky-dory all the time, all the way, but there's always hope. That's the hope that we bring to you. We'll be back right after these messages. You are listening to the Experience Pros Radio Show, home of positive business talk. For more information about us and how we can better accelerate your business success, how about checking us out at experiencepros.com? It's experiencepros.com.
The Experience Pros, revolutionizing the way people treat people in business.